r/ask Reddit. What fact about the universe is completely mind-blowing? The light from each star you see took a long time to get here. Everyone knows that. You can interpret that to mean that you're looking into the past. What you see is actually the state of that star many years ago. But take it a step farther. You can see a lot of stars at the same time. And they're all different distances away. Meaning that you're looking 5 years, 20 years, 100 years, 2000 years, and a million years into the past all at the same time. You're not just looking into the past, you're looking through time. You're literally seeing in 4 dimensions. Hypothetically, if we could travel faster than the speed of light through a wormhole or whatever, and had access to a telescope powerful enough to see on Earth from wherever we were in space, could we witness history live, aka time traveling backwards, but from a distance? Hypothetically, light that left the Earth 65 million years ago is now 65 million light years away, and an alien with a big enough telescope pointed directly at the Earth might be able to see dinosaurs. Practically, such a telescope would be impossibly huge. Hold up your hands and clap them together. Wait 1 second. Then do it again. If you could plot the distance between the first clap and the second clap, it would be more than 800 kilometers. This is because the Earth is moving around the Sun. The Sun is moving around the center of the galaxy. The galaxy is moving through the Virgo supercluster, and the Virgo supercluster is barreling through the universe. When you add up all the velocities and compare the result to the cosmic microwave background, which is the closest thing we have to a universal frame of reference, it comes out to about 800 kilometers per second. Sit still for an hour, and you'll travel farther than you'll ever walk in your life. Too long didn't read. Zoom. This is why we never hear about most time travelers. They forget you have to travel in time and space if you don't want to end up drifting in the vacuum. It would be pretty crazy if time travel turns out to be possible, but no one can ever do it for this reason. Just need a TARDIS. It takes 24 hours for Earth to rotate on its axis to make a day, and 365 days to orbit around the Sun for a year. It takes around 230 million years for our solar system to complete a single orbit around the Milky Way. The last time it was in its current position, the earliest dinosaurs had just appeared, and flowering plants wouldn't evolve for another 100 million years. Whoa, I did not expect for this to get so many upvotes. Thank you everybody and keep exploring science. I gotta see this. Remind me in 230 million years. There are 10 million particles in the universe that we can observe. Your mama took the ugly ones and put them into one nerd. Nope, OP ain't Einstein. I'm as dope as 2 rappers, you must be scared. That means Albert E equals MC squared. Your cells are doing things for you that you don't even know. It's like a universe with trillions of tiny cities inside your body that you are unaware of, and they do it all and engage in those complex systems so you can do mundane things like raise your index finger and pick your nose. It seems strange to me that when we think of ourselves, we think of our conscience. When we think of the cells and the neurons and bacteria and everything else that makes up what we are as something separate from ourselves rather than a part of ourselves. Rally, in a way the cells are doing things for us. They are us. Also makes me wonder if we are inside something. Giant space turtle. We barely know what's in the ocean, let alone the universe. Related point. More people have been on the moon than on the bottom of the deepest point in our deepest ocean. And that is why James Cameron is considered the bravest pioneer. James Cameron doesn't do what James Cameron does for James Cameron. James Cameron does what James Cameron does because James Cameron is James Cameron. The most mind-blowing fact is that the universe exists at all. Why is there something, rather than nothing? How strange it is to be anything at all. +1 for the Mangum Opus. There's a dust cloud in the center of the galaxy, about 150 light years across, that, if you were capable of taking off your spacesuit, would smell faintly of rum and raspberries. I am completely capable of taking off my spacesuit. Thank you very much. I'm just not very good at staying alive after that. Not with that attitude. Poincare occurrence. Any self-contained Finite system will repeat itself given enough time. That means that if the universe or any part of it that contains me is self-contained and finite, that there will be infinite reincarnations of me typing this post. That means you'll also get infinite upvotes from me. I like you. I like you too. Sometimes I think that life after death is just the life you lived repeated. We could have been doing this forever and never even realized. We could do this again forever and not even realize. If it was the case that life repeats in this exact way forever, it could be that there is always a Jesus, always an Einstein, a Hitler, a Trump, and most significantly always a you. Sometimes I imagine that you create your heaven or hell in the choices you make in your lifetime, because you'll just being living it again and again forever. One I heard a while back was, enough hydrogen, left alone for a long time, will eventually begin to think about itself. I heard it as, given enough time, hydrogen begins to wonder where it came from and where it's going. I absolutely love this quote. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from, Hydrogen Joe? That it is asking this question of itself right now on Reddit. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. Carl Sagan. A star can be billions of miles away and send light millions of years toward your eyes with nothing getting in its way. However, if I put my hand over your eyes, I have stopped that light's millions years journey less than an inch from you seeing it. Wow, you dong. Everything in the universe is either a potato or not a potato. What's a potato? Get out of my house. Our galaxy alone contains hundreds of billions of stars. Unless life is a unique fluke, we have neighbors out there somewhere. I've always liked the quote from Arthur C. Clarke. Two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. If we were to presume that life evolved around every single one of the hundreds of billions of stars in the sky, and if we were to further presume that every single one of those civilizations had evolved technologically to a point that they could travel into space and search for life in other solar systems, and that they were scanning for life as we are, by searching the skies for non-visible light spectrums for IR and UV signatures, our strongest radio waves to leave the solar system have only traveled about 100 light years or so. Even if all those civilizations were actively looking for us, and looking right at us, our energy signature, traveling away from us at speed of light, has only passed the first 150 or so closest stars at this stage. To the other hundreds of billions of worlds out there, the light they see from our sun is millions of years old, just only passing them now. Inverse square law means that our strongest signals are melded into the background noise from our sun after 10-15 light years and are not distinguishable as from intelligent origin. To me, it's that a small amount of the static on an analog television is background radiation from the Big Bang. Even now that the analog signal has been switched off in many countries, there it is. You can plug in a TV and attach it to an aerial, and some small percentage of what you will see is just that. There might be nothing broadcasting on these frequencies anymore, but one thing that is broadcasting is the birth of the universe. Even without any man-made electromagnetic signals, an analog TV connected to an antenna will produce the same black and white static picture. This static signal is created by the background electromagnetic hum of our universe. The entire thing is contained in a marble, hanging on a ribbon, around a cat's neck. Just astounding. The fact that the universe is expanding, but what is it expanding into? Also, in the far distant future there will be a point where the universe has expanded enough that any life forms living in the future Milky Way galaxy will no longer be able to see other galaxies through telescopes. They would have moved too far away. Think about it. Those life forms, even if they reach our own level of technological advancement, we'll never know of all the other galaxies that exist. As far as they'll be concerned, the future Milky Way galaxy is the entire universe and anything beyond it is just empty darkness. That blew my mind. Is that like billions of years in the distant future? Is it possible we're missing something because we moved too far away from something else? The starlight you see at night was created long before you, or even your parents were alive. To expand on this, the starlight has been traveling for a very long time. It traveled through space for billions of miles. Finally, after many close calls, a planet appeared. The light was destined to hit. It's getting closer and closer. The planet is so large now Finally, the light will have a resting place for all eternity, and instead of hitting the ground, you walked in, looked up, and it hit your eye instead. It exists, and we can observe it. This realization causes me to have a 30-second existential crisis every few days. You really want to have a crisis? Think about how every single particle in your body exists in the position and state it's in due to a domino effect of interactions going all the way back to the Big Bang. You, yourself, are just the current edge of the wave of this chain reaction. Say you're watching something in nature, like waves on a beach. Somewhere in the universe on some planet with some liquid, there is likely similar waves on some rocks or a shore that no one has ever seen. But it's still there. That's happening right now, as you read this. Oh duck, that just made me sad for some reason. Reading these comments is giving me a panic attack. I severely underestimated what I signed up for. Maybe only 1% of actual universe is observable. Space can expand faster than light. Mankind may be one of the very first civilizations to emerge anywhere. Consider the possibility that a universe, not at all unlike our own, exists parallel to ours. Somewhere out in the vastness of space, there is a tiny planet. This much is true in both universes. On this planet, there is a beach, and on that beach, there is a small stone. Once again, both universes are alike in this regard. Beneath that stone, however, there are several million grains of sand, and while they are in precisely the same location in each universe, one of them a tiny speck of particularly clear quartz, hewn from a larger hole millions of years before, has a single atom that is positioned a fraction of a femtometer differently than its twin in the mirror dimension. You may think that such an insignificant difference would label these two universes as being functionally identical, and you would be right. In fact, they are so similar that the multiverse has long since combined them into one reality. That single atom in that tiny speck of sand on that lonesome beach on a distant planet merely occupies two spaces at once, seeming to an outside observer to vibrate back and forth at a predictable rate. That every atom in existence seems to do the same is probably a coincidence. Too long didn't read. The universe is a vibrator. I hope we are a classy vibrator for some super deity and not a forgotten once used cheap one left to rot in a box under the bed. Humans are very intelligent creatures. We have gone to the moon, sent probes to Mars, the internet is a thing, and still humans can't seem to understand that walking behind or in front of a moving forklift with 2,000 pounds on its forks is potentially fatal. Truly mind-blowing if you ask me. Respect your high-low drivers. In about 4-5 billion years, this solar system won't exist any longer. Side, but related. Fact, just like the previous ones, we're a second or third generation system due to the presence of heavy metals, like iron in the solar system and our own bodies. Bonus fact, iron comes from dying stars. We literally are made of stardust since iron is in our blood. Hydrogen is a colorless, odorless gas, which if left alone in large enough quantities, for long enough, will begin to think about itself. Someone. Hydrogen. Earth is the only planet not named after a god. There are intelligent sentient creatures who have command of knowledge, research, and industry, capable of building spacefaring vessels, allowing themselves to travel between planetary bodies, who choose not to do so, because a large percentage of their population wants to spend their resources on weapons to kill each other, and think a wizard made the universe, who is personally invested in wanting them to not masturbate. Oh. Another one is that we have no idea why humans or mammals sleep. It consumes half of our lives, but we have no idea why we need it. All we know is that it heals our brain. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on the world's beaches. More stars in the universe than seconds of time that have passed since Earth formed. More stars than words and sounds ever uttered by all humans who have ever lived. Okay, I don't know how to post this properly because I'm on mobile. But this is from you/Reclatter a couple months ago. I loved it so much I had to save it. The entire universe outside our galaxy could have completely disappeared over 20,000 years ago and we still wouldn't know it yet. Our view of the universe is actually what it looked like anywhere from thousands to billions of years ago, with no way to see what it actually looks like right now. Imagine if you looked out your front window and saw your yard as it was 6 months ago, neighbor's house across the street a year ago, and houses a block or two away as they were several years ago. Also off in the distance you see the glaciers from the last ice age. That's what it's like looking out at the universe. There are more ways to arrange a deck of cards than protons. Maths. It's crazy how 10 different characters and an array of different symbols meaning other things is still evolving. Maths was invented thousands of years ago, but it's still massively relevant today. Everything we've ever known was invented or discovered thanks to maths. Actually, maths is the result of everything we've ever learned. If mankind forgot everything we ever knew, we'd rediscover it all again, and we'd reinvent maths as well. It'd function the same, but it'd look entirely different. Well, I'll go with an easier one that will be mind-blowing for most. Our current asteroid detection is seriously inadequate. There's a very good probability that we won't notice a planet killer before it's nearly too late. At that point, we have only two legitimate and untested options: an impactor to push the asteroid off course, and nuclear weapons. If those don't work, well, it's the way of the dinosaurs with us. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.